Welcome back to the Press Box, everybody. Zach Miller, Mark Haskell here for a new edition. A lot of stuff to get to. And, it's the summertime. Not a lot of local stuff going on. We have, co-ed softball and some Little League. Little League will be starting soon for the championship stuff, for state stuff.
A little bit of that.
But we're going to stay strictly national for today's episode. And we're going to start off with the World Cup. If you haven't been watching the Women's World Cup, the USA, shocker, is really good. And, yep, they're drinking tea because they just beat England.
I'm so offended.
They just beat England 2-1 yesterday. And the reason, if you don't know what that little hand gesture was from Mark, Alex Morgan scored the eventual game winner in the 31st minute of yesterday's win for the U.S., and she did that to mock the English by drinking some tea.
Oh, God forbid they have any fun.
I know.
Oh, my God.
It was pretty funny if she did it. They also did it coming into the stadium with actual little Dixie cups, which was pretty funny.
Well, I mean, what was it, a couple weeks ago? People were getting all bent out of shape because they scored too many goals and they were celebrating them.
Yeah.
Because it was a lot of players that'll probably never play in the World Cup or getting a chance to showcase and score some goals. I mean, I get why you're upset about that, but this is gamesmanship. I mean, if you look at it, the four teams that are left, I mean, England and the U.S., they're kind of the cream of the crop. So in a lot of ways, this is like when Golden State and Houston play each other in the Western Conference Finals. It's like, this is basically for the NBA championship.
Yeah.
They're going to beat whoever they beat in the East. Whoever wins this is probably going to win the World Cup. So whoever wins this is going to go on to face either the Netherlands or Sweden. So obviously the U.S. gets the win here. But I mean, this is gamesmanship. This is highest level of soccer. You're not allowed to show some emotion or show some flair or I just don't understand what the big hoopla is about it. I mean, it was a big goal and a big moment. It's not like they were up 5-1 or 6-1 and the game was already in hand and they were already assured the fact to go on. I mean, that was a big goal. I mean, that was in the 31st minute, and the last 60 minutes of that match went scoreless. So I mean, that was the goal that held up. Yeah,
barely scoreless. But she did it. Early, obviously, it was in the 31st minute. You still have almost another hour of gameplay. And the U.S. almost lost. They gave up a goal, but that was called back because of offsides in the second half. And then they got called for a penalty in the box, which was so-so. But I can understand where it came from because she did hit the back leg as the woman was going in for the shot, right in front of the U.S. goal. And then it was a nice save by Alyssa
Nair.
Alyssa Nair, thank you.
Yes.
Heck of a save. She read it the whole way, going left, dove left, stopped it, and that saved the US.
I mean, if you watch the replay, as the girl's winding up for the kick, she's already cheating left. It was so clear, it was so apparent to her that the kicker was going left. That it was. I mean, I'm not taking anything away from the save. The save was awesome. The save got the U.S. into the gold medal game, but it seemed pretty clear where she was going.
Yeah.
But kudos to her. It was a heck of a save, and now they're moving on. Another interesting thing is that obviously Megan Rapinoe didn't play. That she has a hamstring thing, but they're saying that she's going to be all right for the match on Sunday. But it was Kristen Press, the girl that came in for her and subbed in and played for her, that scored the first goal of the game for the U.S.
Yeah. It was what was it? I forget what
minute. It was in the 10th minute. Yeah, it was on a header.
Very quickly. The U.S. have scored very quickly in all their matches. With the 5th minute against France, and then in their group games, they just annihilated everybody in the first couple of minutes, and it was over, and you could have shut it off. But the U.S. has been absolutely flawless. They've actually had some. I think their matches with England and France were closer than I thought they would be, but kind of expected because England and France were two of the top teams coming in. Germany also lost, and Germany was supposed to be really good this year. But obviously the U.S. was penciled into the title game right from the start because
which puts a lot more pressure on them
3 years.
For sure. And obviously Ellen White, she scored for England, and then late in the game, Millie Bright, she got her second yellow card, and that translated into a red. So England was playing a woman down, sorry, for the last 10 minutes of the match. So I mean, at that point, you're kind of thinking this thing is over anyway. It was kind of funny. We were watching the game, and Kristen Press, she scored on the header, and I was telling my middle son Austin, I was like, wow, watch this. She scores with her head. He's not really big into sports. I'm just trying to get him involved a little bit. And I was like, you know what they call that? They call that a header. And he goes, have they scored on any footers? Can't make it up.
Oh, yeah. He's 6. It's one of those cute moments.
Yeah, it was great. It was very funny. But yeah, both their goals were on headers. No footers for the U.S. in this one. But we'll have to see what happens in the gold medal game. So.
Yeah, the U.S. was in their 3rd straight title game, which is the most. Their 5th all-time, which is the most all-time for any country to be in. Germany's 2nd with 3. Yesterday's win also makes 16 straight wins for the USA in World Cup games, which is also the most all-time, and Germany's second with 15. So Germany's watching from behind here, which is nice.
I have a pretty good idea that we'll be talking about this next week, and we'll be talking about all these girls getting gold medals.
Not next week, the week after. 2 weeks.
The week after?
'Cause I'll be on vacation.
Oh yeah, but when are you going to be back?
I'm gone all next week.
Oh man, you didn't clear this with me at all.
That's too bad.
It's unbelievable.
Anyway, we're going to switch
Thoughtless
from
is what it
soccer
is.
over to the hard court because, the NBA has been pretty exciting the past couple of days, hasn't
Yeah,
it?
holy cow. That first day of the free agent
It's
period,
like-
it was
it's
like
all
the
so much
first few
fun.
hours. It was just unbelievable. And if you're just following along on Twitter, it's just like, boom, this guy signs here, boom, this guy signs here. And a lot of it was kind of well known, but a couple of the big bombs, the Woj bombs as they call them,
Yep.
they hadn't quite dropped yet. To me, the biggest surprises were Kevin Durant and Kyrie Irving both going to the Brooklyn Nets. Durant, 4-year, $164 million deal, and Kyrie Irving, 4-year, $142 million deal. So the Nets just threw $300 million at these two guys.
And Durant's not even going to play next year.
And Durant
probably.
isn't even going to play next year at all. And by the way, I'm so sad that Kyrie is gone. I'm so bummed about it. I just don't know how I'm going to get over it.
When I was first reading about the reports that the Celtics were going to sign Kemba Walker, I was very excited. I'll take Kemba over Kyrie any day. I know Kyrie is, he's like probably the best point guard in the league, but to not have that attitude on the team is going to be. I think the Celtics will be better next year without Kyrie and Al Horford.
Kemba is a fantastic player, and he really, Kemba Walker is a fantastic player. But if you look at the teams he's had with Charlotte, he has had no help.
Oh yeah,
no help there at all. He has not played on a team where he's got bona fide all-star caliber players around him at all. I mean, he was playing with Frank Kaminsky last year.
Yeah.
You look at the roster that he's going to be playing on now. I mean, not to say the Celtics are going to be competing in the East just yet. I think they've got to make a couple more moves. But I'm really laughing at how this is going to go for Brooklyn. I'll tell you how it's going to go. Kyrie's going to have a really pretty darn good first season, but it's I don't think Brooklyn's going to be like a high up there playoff team. It's going to be a lot of pressure on Kyrie, and it's Brooklyn, it's still New York, so you're in a heavy media market. He's going to be feeling
media market.
Yes,
than Boston is.
He's going to be feeling the pressure on that. And then when Kyrie comes back the following season at about 70% and things aren't going great, things are going to go south real fast for the Brooklyn Nets. That's my prediction. I mean, I'm not saying the Celtics are going to do anything either, but I see that ending badly for the Brooklyn Nets.
Yeah, obviously the path to the Atlantic Conference Championship just got a little bit tougher because now you have the Celtics, the Nets, and the 76ers, who are all going to have pretty stout teams.
The Sixers look real strong.
Yeah, since they signed Horford.
Yep, they've got.
I think losing Horford is the biggest blow for the Celtics. But the Celtics signed Enes Kanter, who is not a Horford level player at all. But it does help lessen the blow a little bit. But obviously Horford's production and his just what's the word I'm looking for? His experience, there we go, on the court really helped the Celtics, especially with Jaylen Brown and Jason Tatum when they were younger, and Terry Rozier and all those guys. Because Terry
Rozier going to Charlotte for $60 million. I was laughing so hard when I saw that signing. I'm like, how do you guys? The money that these teams have, that a guy like him can just go and get $60 million from the Hornets.
But the playoff series, not this past year, but the year before when the Celtics made the Eastern Conference Finals, I think really set the stage for him to earn that $60 million. If he doesn't have that playoff when Kyrie was hurt, then he's not earning $60 million. And I think he's still back on the Celtics in a backup role.
Yeah, I agree.
If Kyrie never got hurt. But I am really excited to have Kemba Walker on the team. And Walker, from what I've read, is really excited to join the Celtics because now, like you said, he doesn't have to do it all.
Right.
He can dish it out to Jaylen Brown or Jason Tatum and Gordon Hayward, who's
still
still on the
Gordon
team,
Hayward.
who's also now taking kind of a back seat in the Celtics. It's like, oh yeah, we still have that guy, the all-star guy.
So, and we've got some interesting bigs. I mean, we were talking 2 weeks ago. We didn't get a show last week, but we were talking 2 weeks ago, just after the draft. I was talking about how disappointed I was that the Celtics didn't, take a flyer on Ball.
Yeah.
Now we've got Taco Fall.
I know,
Taco
right?
Fall's in the mix. He's signed with the Celtics with a summer league contract, so it's no guarantee that he's going to be with the Celtics. Very good chance that we might end up seeing him with the Maine Red Claws, which is pretty cool.
True, yeah, big 7'6" guy.
That's right. So we've got him, and we've got the guy that you just mentioned that we signed.
Yeah, Enes Kanter. They also signed re-signed Daniel Tyson, Brad Wanamaker.
Yes.
So a couple of backup role players that they had.
And they also signed a guy from overseas. Whose name is escaping me, but they have a lot of options at the 5, which is a good thing for them to have because 1 through 4, I mean they've got depth there now, which is a nice thing for them to have. I mean, like you're talking about those 4 guys. We didn't even mention Marcus Smart. Marcus Smart's still on the bench.
That's true. Yeah,
I
forgot about him.
Yeah. So I mean, I think, but who knows? If some, they might, trade some more people, try to free up some more salary cap, see if they can get, like another mid-level exception guy or something like this, just another name, another body in there. Who knows? I mean, I don't think the Celtics are done. I think right now they look pretty good, but I mean, I think they're looking up at Philly. They're probably looking up at Milwaukee, even though Milwaukee just lost Brogdon to Indiana. That was a big loss for them.
Re-signed Chris Middleton.
And they did re-sign Chris Middleton. They've got Giannis, so that's all great. But I mean, and the big domino that hasn't fallen yet is Kawhi. Does Kawhi go back to Toronto? If Kawhi leaves Toronto, I feel like the East is wide open.
Yeah.
If Kawhi stays, then the Celtics are looking up at 3 or 4 teams. So there's still a lot that hasn't happened yet. So but at this point, the Celtics are looking, I would say better. I would say better. I mean, like, can you make the argument that Kyrie is a better player than Kemba? Of course, you can make that argument all day. But if you're getting like 85% of how good Kyrie is with Kemba and no headaches, I'll take that.
Yeah, exactly. And I mean, Enes Kanter, he'll probably replace Horford in the starting lineup since Baines has now gone off to Phoenix. But Kanter averaged 13 points per game with 8.6 rebounds and almost a steal and a half to 2 steals a game during the regular season with Portland last year. But those numbers went up in the playoffs when Portland's big got hurt and Kanter had to step in. So he's a good player in his own right.
Yep.
He's been a good player for years. So we'll just see how he does with the Celtics.
Yeah, no, I was happy with that sign. I thought, and it just gives them some depth at the 5. I mean, with all the big guys that they've got in there, they'll be able to figure out, okay, these two are going to be something. These two, all right, we can say goodbye.
Brad Stevens is a good coach.
Because you're not going to have 4 centers on a 12-man roster.
Yeah, exactly.
You know what I mean? But we will be able to figure out who's stepping up and who's shipping out.
Yeah.
So.
And the Celtics they'll have 3 first-round picks next year.
Yep.
Too. So a lot of pieces to go.
The
Celtics will be good for a while.
It does suck that we're just kind of like we're not rebuilding per se. But, all this stuff, I mean, like, a month ago we were looking at having Kyrie, we were looking at having Anthony Davis and all these guys, and now we're resetting. We're resetting the blocks. You know what I mean?
I think I'm fine without having Kyrie and Anthony Davis. Send Anthony Davis off to be with LeBron and the Lakers. Send Kyrie down to Brooklyn to be with Durant and those guys. Give me the core that we have now with Kemba, who's a better leader and not a head case because he's never been really in that.
But what's interesting
he's in a bigger market now than he was with Charlotte. So we'll see how he does under the Boston media pressure, but I think he'll be fine.
If Kawhi goes to the Lakers, then none of this matters.
Oh, I know.
Because we're all just playing out the string, and we're going to watch the Lakers.
But if Kawhi does go to the Lakers, I will lose a lot of respect for Kawhi.
I agree.
Because Kawhi was just in Toronto for half a season, basically, and brought them their first championship. The guy is probably the biggest, I would say the best player in the NBA right now. I know LeBron and KD and all that, but look what Kawhi just did.
But 2 seasons ago, he was the biggest a-hole in the NBA,
I know,
too, because of what he did to San Antonio. He held San Antonio hostage for an entire season, and then they were basically forced to deal him to Toronto. And then he goes and wins an NBA championship with Toronto. So, I mean, everybody forgets that he basically just quit on a team and just sulked. And then he pushed his way out, got to Toronto, and then won a championship. And now instead of staying in Toronto and being the guy, you're going to go join up with LeBron and Anthony Davis. That move would make no sense to me at all.
He would lose a lot of respect for everybody if he did that. But who knows? It's all about the money and where he's going to go.
A lot of money in the NBA, that's for sure.
But anyway, we're going to run through some other big-name people. So we have Durant, Irving, and DeAndre Jordan going to the Nets. The Pistons signed Derrick Rose to a 2-year deal. The Miami Heat now have Jimmy Butler.
Yes, that's right. That was another 3-team trade.
So he's not on the 76ers anymore.
Yep.
So that's a big loss for them. The Bucks signed Chris Middleton. The Knicks signed Julius Randle. Talk about the New York Knicks doing nothing in free agency. That sucks for that.
I actually feel really bad for the Knicks.
It's pretty bad.
I think the NBA is better when a marquee franchise like the Knicks is doing well. But I just hate James Dolan. He's such a d-bag. I'm sorry, he just is, and I wish that he would just go away and sell the team. But I would imagine that him being the owner is probably a lot of people that are thinking about like guys like Durant and Kyrie. I think a lot of people thought those two were going to the Nets.
Yep.
And they're looking at Dolan and the Knicks, and they're looking at the Nets, and they're just like, well, I think we should just go over here.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? Like this guy is terrible. Like, why would you want to play for him? Why would you want him to be your boss? But anyway, sorry.
Isaiah Thomas is back he'll be playing for the Wizards.
I saw
This
that.
past year. The Mavericks re-signed Kristaps Porzingis, who used to play for the Knicks before the Knicks traded him to make room for cap space to sign at least 2 max-level guys, which they did this offseason. The Warriors
Knicks.
now have D'Angelo Russell, who used to play for the Nets.
Yes, that was part of the sign and trade.
And the
with Durant.
Warriors re-signed Klay Thompson too, so we'll see. But they traded Andre Iguodala to the Grizzlies. So
Yeah,
a lot of big name pieces moving around this year.
I mean, this seriously, like, it was the first day of NBA free agency. That was one of the craziest days I can ever remember.
It was big.
No
It was
question.
wild,
Like,
yeah.
so many big pieces moving everywhere. So, but yeah, who knows? Next week we might have a better idea of how the Celtics are looking, and we might know where Kawhi lands. But now, Zach, we're going to do something that we've been saying that we were going to do for months.
Red Sox.
And we just haven't had a chance to talk Red Sox. There's been so much local stuff going on.
We haven't had a chance, but most people just don't want to talk about the Red
Yeah,
Sox at the
yeah,
same
that's
time.
also a big part of it. There hasn't been a lot to talk about after winning the World Series and really kind of, by and large, bringing back the same team.
Yeah.
And it's just weird how much the dynamic of a team can change from year to year. You're looking at this team like right now. Last night they got a 10-6 win over Toronto, which was great. Right now they're 45-40. They're third in the East. They're 10 games behind the Yankees, who haven't had Stanton and Judge like all year long.
They haven't had the whole team their whole year long, pretty much.
Yeah. So it's been a frustrating year, and it's weird because like the offense is kind of like sometimes they'll get hot, they'll get cold. Like Rafael Devers, for example, he had a terrible April. Now he's just hitting the cover off the ball. He's moved his average up to 329.
Yeah, it's kind of funny that the Red Sox pretty much best player didn't make the All-Star team.
Yeah, he had 2 homers and 6 RBIs last night. But I'm telling you, like, if the Red Sox are going to have any chance at making a run at the playoffs, we need to just, like, if anybody out there has any kind of daily contact with Rafael Devers, just remind him every single day that he didn't make the All-Star team.
Yeah,
I mean,
right.
if that's
And
what's going to
Bogarts.
motivate him, just
And
tell him
Xander.
that.
Xander
Yeah, I
didn't
feel
make
like
it
they
either.
both got snubbed. I feel like JD Martinez and Betts, I feel like they just kind of got in on name brand recognition
Popularity,
only.
yeah.
But if people really looked at how great Bogarts and Devers have both been, I feel like those are 2 big snubs. But I'm also not a guy that gets wound up about guys getting snubbed for the All-Star. Like, as far as I'm concerned, like, good. That means you're going to get more rest. Go home and get more rest and be ready for the second half. Because if there's a team that needs to reset and reshuffle the deck more than the Boston Red Sox going into the second half, I don't know who it is.
Yeah, though they're 10 games out of the AL East right now, and they're still 4.5 out behind Tampa Bay. It's for second place. So, and also another interesting tidbit. We were talking about this, I think, yesterday. Nathan Eovaldi will be the closer when he comes back from the IL.
So they say. How do you feel about that?
I mean, it makes sense because he's had that elbow issue.
Mm-hmm.
So he won't get as much work as he did as a starter. And Lord knows, not the Celtics, the Red Sox need a closer. They don't need just a closer, but they need bullpen help because the Red Sox could have a 20-run lead. Oh, here comes the bullpen, and now they lost.
I'm actually super disappointed that Dave Dombrowski didn't just like set it up where when they came back from England that they all had trouble with their visas.
Oh my gosh.
And like all the bullpen. Well, sorry, the bullpen's just going to
left them
stay in
over
England.
there.
Let's just go start over again.
That's serious.
But obviously, Eovaldi is going to be the closer now. Is kind of interesting. I mean, he's making $17 million a year. All of a sudden, he's like one of the richest closers in baseball. It's like him, Wade Davis, and Aroldis Chapman, and that's the list. Like they're all making around 17 mil a year. But yeah, their bullpen really needs help. Another interesting thing, like their bullpen is terrible. They've blown 18 saves this year. That's really
worse
bad.
than terrible.
Brazier's been bad. Barnes has been bad. Workman's been bad. But I also feel like, and I'm trying to not just be the glass half full guy because I'm a Red Sox fan, but I feel like these guys have been put in really high leverage situations where maybe they're just not built for that. I mean, last year they kind of relied on Kimbrel, even though Kimbrel was a dumpster fire half the time, but he was a name. He was somebody that could come in if you needed to get 3 outs, Kimbrel could get them. And now these guys are just they're just all over the map. One of the things they're doing now is down in AAA, Darwinson Hernandez, who has been a great starter. They're going to convert him to a relief role, and he's going to come up with the Red Sox this year and get into that bullpen and hopefully help bolster the back end. So maybe you'll be in a position where it's going to be Eovaldi closing, and then you've got Hernandez, and then you've got those other guys, Workman, Brazier, Barnes, who will be pitching in lower leverage situations. Maybe they're going to get their confidence up a little bit, and maybe we can string together some wins, get the offense going, and maybe things will start happening. This is all glass half full stuff. Eovaldi could come back. Eovaldi could come back and 4 games in, screw his elbow up again, and then this is all just for nothing.
Back to square one.
Right. So, but yeah, it's just been a frustrating season to watch for the Red Sox. Especially when we're used to our teams not just contending, but like last year we were setting records.
Yeah.
108 regular season
We were
wins.
a lot better than 45-40.
Yeah.
At the break.
I think
not at the break yet.
I think
but
they had
we're
their 45th win by like June.
Yeah. Or by
June
May.
1st.
It seemed
Yeah.
like it.
Yeah. So, but yeah, hopefully things are turning around. Like right now, like we're at Toronto, which can cure what ails you for sure. But this is the frustrating thing has been about this team is they'll beat up on teams like they'll lose to the Orioles. They'll lose a series to the Orioles, and you're like, oh man, it's over. And then they go and they take like 2 out of 3 from the Twins, who are like the best team in baseball. It's like
they win like 8
what
or
am I
9
watching?
straight, and it's like, what's going on here? Which Red Sox team is going to show up?
It's super
for
frustrating.
day-to-day?
Like they're playing down to the competition and they're playing up to the competition. They just need to pretend they're playing the Twins all the time. I don't know.
Yeah, they beat the Yankees at least once.
Yeah, I mean, like
more than once.
The series in London was a very, very forgettable series. Rick Porcello didn't even get out of the first inning. Neither did, I think it was Tanaka who was pitching against him. That was the game where it was 6-0 and then 6-6 in the first.
Yeah.
And it just went real fast. But yeah, I kind of just throw those 2 games out. I mean, I feel like you kind of have to at this point. I mean, we're down 10 games to the Yankees. We got to start making some games up. So and the Yankees have owned the Red Sox this year so far.
Yeah.
So we got a lot of work to do if you're a Red Sox fan. So,
you hit the nail on the head.
But no, don't panic because it's July 3rd. So you know what that means? Patriots minicamp is starting soon.
Yeah, minicamp. I can't
Yeah,
believe it.
thank God. Thank
Yeah,
God.
is it football season yet?
Thank God the Patriots are going to get to win another Super Bowl. Are you excited?
I am pumped.
Yeah, they deserve one more. You know what I mean?
They just haven't had enough.
I am definitely relishing that all the people that have been like, oh, Rob Gronkowski's coming back. Have you seen him? He's like lost like 100 pounds.
He's not coming back.
Yeah, have you seen him now? Like I look stronger than Rob Gronkowski right now,
coming back,
and that's saying nothing at all.
We would have known there would have been some leak or something that he was coming back by now. With minicamp starting.
Why would you want to come back? Like you walk off with a Super Bowl. You had that huge clutch catch. Like he gave everything to New England, and Patriot fans are just like, no, we want more.
We want your soul.
Yeah, we want your soul. They do. That's what the Patriots do. They want your soul. So, but that's it. We'll wrap up on that, and we'll talk more when Zack gets back from vacation. Unless I can talk Ken to come down here and talking with us. So what that means is that we'll talk to Zack when he gets back from vacation. So until then, I'm Mark. This is Zack. Have a great 4th of July, and this has been the Press Box.